球選手はペドロ・マルティネスです。
私の名前は犬塚祐介です。好きな大リーガーはマリナーズのイチロー選手です。
私の名前は松本剛です。好きな野球選手はアレックス・ロドリゲス選手です。
私の名前は福山ナルトです。好きな野球選手はロジャー・クレメンス選手です。
私の名前は佐藤亮也です。好きな野球選手はランディ・ジョンソン選手です。
私の名前は村上健太です。好きな野球選手はデレック・ジーター選手です。
私の名前は城下正和です。好きな野球選手はイチロー選手です。
私の名前は今井武弘です。好きな野球選手は井口選手です。
私の名前は小池亮太です。好きな野球選手は城島選手です。
私の名前は大熊仁です。好きな野球選手は松井秀喜です。
私の名前は村田康介です。好きな野球選手はランディ・ジョンソン選手です。
私の名前は森田直之です。好きな野球選手はイチロー選手です。
私の名前は穂積隼人です。好きな野球選手はイチロー選手です。
私の名前は日高文也です。好きな野球選手は松井秀喜選手です。
Now let's take a look at the lineups for the team from Kawaguchi City, Japan. Right at the top, it starts with the center fielder. Play continues. Dmitry Semenov on the mound, and he faces Seigu Yada, who takes a strike, and we're underway.
I'll tell you what, these kids are so excited to be here. Obviously, the Russian team is the second time in a row. The Japanese team is the first time, so this is a beautiful environment for both.
That one in the dirt. Good job by Yada laying off. Seigu Yada, you see these guys from other countries, and at least in part they've all been Americanized to some extent, all big baseball fans. And Yada, for example, big fan of American baseball, but then also you have other things like big fan of Harry Potter books.
Exactly. You know, you can see the internationals of what the baseball Little League is able to create.
Yada lifting that one foul. It'll drop down harmlessly in foul territory. 2-2. Nice afternoon, a little bit overcast.
Not as sunny as yesterday. Yesterday was a beautiful evening in that game that the kid Andrew pitched, but this one's still all right. Thank goodness no rain, and we're going to get this one in.
Ball. 2-2 down and away, and Yada making Semenov go the distance. Japan against Russia in international pool play. The 3-2. And Yada gets a piece.
One thing about the Japanese hitters that you'll notice, first of all, about the whole team, very systematic, very well coached and disciplined. And even at the plate, they foul off a lot of pitches. They take it deep in the count. It's kind of like one of those Boston and Yankee games. You're going to see a lot of foul balls, a lot of good at bats.
That one through the box and back up the middle. It's a hit for Seigu Yada. And Japan gets us started here in inning number 1. Let's check out the Russian defense. Lavrinovich, Vesenyev, and Novizhelov in the outfield. Shevchenko, Elkin, Tomolchev, and Homanyov over there at first base in the battery. Semenov and Lebyedev.
Very nice, Bruce.
Thank you.
I think you might have some Russian in you there, Bruce.
Yeah. Squaring around the bunt is Yusuke Inuzuga. And the little guy offered at it. It's a strike, and it's 0-1. And that is part of the
very much
Japanese game, the small ball.
Very much so. The small ball, they bunt early in the games.
Pushes that bunt out in front of the plate. Miscommunication. Everybody's going to be safe. Nobody's covering third, and Yada will take that base. So immediately, Japan taking advantage.
Yes, they are, and that's the type of team that they are. You see the little kid right here bunt in front of the plate. In early game bunting, what it makes you do, especially in Little League, it makes you make the play. And sure enough, they didn't make the play. And another thing that you will see constantly for Team Japan, they're very heads up. And the kid, Yada, takes advantage of nobody being at third base.
Naoki School scored a base hit as Go Matsumoto, the shortstop, stands in. Matsumoto, a big guy, 5 feet 10 inches tall, just under 140 pounds. And no shocker who his favorite player is. That one ripped past the lunging Shevchenko. It's a base hit and a run in as Yada touches 1-0 Japan. 3 straight hits to start the game for Japan as Go Matsumoto with an RBI single, and it's 1-0.
Here you see right here the lefty bringing in the pitch. Out over the plate, looked like a fastball. Very compact swings. I've always enjoyed the Asian swings because they keep it short and compact, which is good at any level. And you got yourself a hit and an RBI.
So first and second, still nobody out. And another slugger at the dish in Naruto Fukuyama.
Watch out for this kid. He's got some pop.
Foul. And first pitch swing.
Only 2 home runs in the regional tournament for Fukuyama. The leader was Yada with 4, and the last guy who just hit, Matsumoto, with 3. But talking to the coach before the game, he feels this is the guy that has the most pop on the team.
Ball. That one upstairs, and the count of ball and a strike. You know, you talk about power, you go back to 2003. That's the last time Japan won the Little League World Series. In that World Series, they set a record. Most home runs with 15, most runs with 59. Most ever in tournament play.
Ball. And it's funny because most times you think of, when you think of Asian teams, you think about the little small ball, hit and run, little guys. But it goes to show you that not only is their baseball advancing, but the kids are getting bigger. And also, compact swing, as we know, creates power.
The 2-1. And that one clips the inside edge against Fukuyama, and the count even. This Russian team back here in Williamsport for the 4th time. Last year they went 0-3. Their only win in Little League World Series history back in 2003. And that one hammered but foul down the third baseline. Shigeru Hidaka, the manager, down there at third. Look out.
That looked like one of those Larry Bowa at third base and Sheffield at the plate type of plays, where the coach, really fun-loving coach Hidaka, spoke to him before the game. He's so excited to be here, and first time, obviously, for them.
And a swing and a miss right there, and a strikeout for Semenov. So the first out recorded here in inning number 1. Japan leading Russia 1-0.
Little sinker right here. I think that ball took a little, pulled the string on him a little bit, as lefties can do. And he kind of swung over it, pulled his shoulder a little bit away. But yet another tough hitter here in the 5th batter.
Ryoya Sato up here, and the pitcher cuts and misses. You saw Lebyadev, the catcher, running out in front of the plate after the pitch was received. The rule in Little League Baseball, you can't steal until the ball reaches the batter. That one fouled back our way. So you cannot lead or move off the base to attempt to steal until the ball gets to the hitter. There are attempts at stealing, but at this level of Little League Baseball, meaning with the elite teams, you usually have guys behind the plate with good arms. Slow breaking ball, swatted foul down the third baseline, and Shevchenko giving chase, couldn't come up with it.
Yeah, that was a nice little changeup right there that he threw. And he's mixing it in, and he's being smart. You know, anytime you're a left-handed pitcher on the mound, you're going to have a little more natural movement on your ball, on your fastball. And so he's mixing, trying to mix it. He doesn't have high velocity, so he's trying to be smart and use his breaking pitches to keep the ball low. If you do that, you can keep this team a little nullified because they do swing the bat well.
Many of the Japanese players' parents here in Williamsport. There's a swing and a miss. And how about that? Semenov has settled down and gotten back-to-back strikeouts. First Fukuyama, now Sato, and they're 2 away with 2 aboard.
And he did exactly just that. He mixed in a couple of fastballs, and now right there he got himself a little curveball. And look at the rotation right here on this little breaking pitch here. Look, a little cut fastball slider, broke away from the left-handed hitter, and he's got him a little out in front right now.
Kenta Murakami hits one foul. Third base side over there. Shevchenko makes a grab. Nice catch over there by the Japanese dugout. Andrei Shevchenko puts it away, and after a rocky start, a nice job by the team from Russia. Japan leading 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the first.
Across America, people are getting back in touch with what's important in life, like family and friends and caring about each other. Little League Baseball salutes the 1.5 million volunteers who keep our program.
The second baseman, a very good hitter, as is the number 2 man at shortstop, Victor Elkin. And they have a tough time today in terms of their mound opponent in the left-hander Ryoya Sato.
Yes, they do. This little 5'6" left-hander has a great breaking pitch. Also has a pretty sharp fastball. He's not their number 1, but he definitely is an above-average Little League pitcher up there on the mound.
Now here at Volunteers Stadium, everybody helps out in Little League Baseball. Worldwide, over 1 million of them, including the umpires. And they are such a huge part of the tournament. Brian Murphy with the plate today. And he will call the balls and the strikes. These umpires get some help with room and board here in Williamsport, but have to pay their own way. People working the concessions, etc., all volunteers. And the first offering to Semenoff is inside, ball 1. The first of 6 games of the Little League World Series today. It's South Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and starting right here, Japan leading Russia 1-0, bottom of the first.
Ball. You know, Boog, what I found interesting when we were listening to both teams say their favorite players, and especially with the international players, because you associate, you know, our domestic guys know the players, but when they're mentioning Manny Ramirez and some of these, it's very cool, especially Jason Varitek. I think it's an easier name for the Russian team to say.
There's Sato pumping in a strike, and the count is now 2-1. And I think the other thing as well is not only are these kids baseball fans, but they're sports fans.
Correct.
Semenoff cuts and misses. The young man at the plate, left-handed pitcher. He's a big Albert Pujols fan and also a big soccer fan. Loves Ronaldinho. Well, speaking of favorite players, oh, they were mobbing you, huh?
You know what? It's a lot of these little kids don't remember me, but their parents remember me when I played in Japan, because it was about 10 years ago.
Ball. And the 2-2 just misses outside, and now it is filled up. About 5 years in Japan you played?
Yeah, and I was it was very special because I had 2 different stints there. Not too many guys have gone from the major leagues to Japan, back to the major leagues, and then back to Japan. So I think they remember me for all that also.
And a 3-2. And that one in the air, mile high. Seigo Yada there. And that is out number 1. Good at bat from Semenoff. And let's check out the defense for Japan. Inuzuka in left. Yada made the catch in center. Fukuyama in right. Murakami, Matsumoto, Imai, and Shiroshita from third to first. Ryota Kyoke behind the plate, teaming with Ryoya Sato, the left-handed starter. A swing and a miss from Victor Elkin, the shortstop.
Another little lefty in the lineup coming up against a lefty, and you try not to match up like that, but you can't do a whole lot when that's just the way you got your best hitters up early in the game.
His favorite hitter, a big lefty, Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Fouled that one off the catcher, Kyoke.
Another thing of note that when we were watching the defenses, Duke, you know, the fences are back 20 feet this year. They're 225. And yesterday, that one poke the kid Andrew Holden hit, I don't think it mattered. I mean, so some of these kids here, I don't think they're gonna affect them as much as some might think. They just got some serious power.
Ball.
Ball and 2 strikes to count on Victor Elkin. This Russian team with 6 players returning from last year's group that went 0-3 here in Williamsport. Japan, of course, always one of the favorites. Good breaking ball, got him looking. First strikeout of the day for Ryoya Sato, 2 down. A reminder, Little League World Series presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes continues 2 more pool play round games on ESPN. 1 Eastern, Staten Island, New York taking on Columbus, Georgia, and then 3 Eastern, Phoenix, Arizona taking on Lamont, Illinois. All games available in high definition on ESPN HD. Pitch missing down and away to Vadim Tomochev, the second baseman. Japan and Russia in international pool play. There are 8 teams on the international side, 8 teams on the United States side. So 16 total teams in the Little League World Series. Let's go Russia, is what the sign says.
You are impressive.
Thank you.
You mentioned the names, you know how to pronounce them, and you know how to read Russian. I'm thorough.
And a swing and a miss.
One of the things to notice with the Japanese pitchers is, and you can think of Ching-Ming Wan as one, or the Asian pitchers, how meticulous and slow they are on the way home. They'll pause a lot, and that kind of takes a hitter off balance.
Outside corner, and he's gone. Back-to-back strikeouts for Sato, and the inning is over. Russia goes 1-2-3. We played
baseball nirvana over here because the fields look great and the people are so excited.
Well, here's Shiroshoto, the first baseman, Masakatsu Shiroshita. Japan get an RBI single from their best player, Go Matsumoto, in the first. And that's the only score. Now one lifted foul off third. Shevchenko makes the grab. Shevchenko has been busy. The third baseman speared a pop-up off the bat of Kenta Murakami to end the first inning.
Yeah, Andrei Shevchenko tends to go he doesn't go, the straight line route to go catch a pop-up, but he's fantastic as far as sticking with the ball. The perseverance is great. His intensity is fantastic. And I tell you what, this little pitcher, Dmitry Semenov, is hanging in there because in the first inning, we thought this was going to start being a big blowout, but he's really battled back and keeping them all stride.
Takahiro Imai, the second baseman, gets a piece.
Small victories, shutting down and not letting them score more than 1 run or getting a couple of punch outs gives so much enthusiasm and excitement to a team like, a young team like a Russian team.
How about this? He works from the stretch with nobody on base. A swing and a miss right there. Thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the thoughts on that is that sometimes that does make your changeup, and if you're just kind of a more of a sinker slider, not a real overpowering pitcher, you don't need the full windup to give you that extra push. So maybe it's even better to kind of make his stuff be just a little slower, a little more mushier, and that works.
He's not going to overpower him regardless, is the point.
Exactly. He's not going to do that, and he knows what he's trying to do, keep him off balance.
Pitch foul back, Takahiro Imai. Japan, if you remember, won the World Baseball Classic, and one of the guys that made quite an impression, Imai's favorite player, Daisuke Matsuzaka, who is arguably the best pitcher over there in Japan. That one in the air, shallow center field. Vesenyev can't pick it up, and it drops in front of him, a base hit for Takahiro Imai. So Vesenyev was back and had to come racing in. Part of the reason, you look at the distinction between a Little League field and a Major League field, and obviously we talked about how they've moved the fences back here in Williamsport. Mound stays the same, 46 feet, but from 205 to 225. Big swing from Ryota Kyoke, the catcher.
Real nice compact swing. You mentioned Daisuke Matsuzaka, who's a good friend of mine, the young kid who plays for my old team, the Seibu Lions, who ironically is only about 45 minutes from Kawaguchi City, where these kids are from.
Swing and a miss right there.
So he's a big fan favorite of the parents There's Kichiro Kyoke, Ryota's father, and of the players, and rightfully so. He is, not arguably, I think he is the best pitcher in Japan.
Ball. Snap throw to first, but getting back in is Ima. Yeah, Matsuzaka, a little bit of an American type of pitcher. He's not really the breaking ball splitter guy as much as he'll come back and say, hey, here's the fastball, try and hit it.
He's built very much, you remember back in the day, Doug Drabeck. He's got that, and he's very much a bulldog. So good guy to mimic if you're a young little leaguer from Japan.
Nice pitch there by Semenov as he strikes out Kyoke looking. So 3 strikeouts for the southpaw.
That is impressive so far in less than 2 innings. He's punched out 3 of the Japanese pitcher. Here you go, another little, what seems to be a slider cut fastball. He's put a little wrinkle on it. And Russia, not known for throwing breaking pitches, Boog. I mean, the breaking pitches is something that's just being introduced to them in the last couple of years.
Ball. Yeah, it's all part of the process, and just in terms of learning the sport. Again, not very many kids in Russia play it. By and large, you play hockey, you play soccer, and then maybe you play some baseball if you don't play one of those 2.
Yeah, actually, even basketball is a little more popular in Russia than baseball. Probably number 4 behind the other 3. Surprisingly, they got some pretty good little basketball players over there. But I did do the WBC this year, and I compare them to China, who is another country that's trying to pick up baseball.
The China, the World Baseball Classic, managed by Jim Lefevre, the former big leaguer.
Bruce Hurst is the pitching coach. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take a little more involvement, and some guys going over there and helping them out.
That pitch swatted at foul back by Seigo Yada, who singled to center back in the first and has scored the only run of the game. Japan leading 1-0. This is international pool play in the Little League World Series.
He's shaking him off. He knows what he wants.
In the air, left field, Lavrinovich got a late start in towards the line, can't make the catch. And stopping over there at third is Imai, and into second, Seigo Yada.
Tough play right there for our little left fielder. Didn't pick it right off pick the ball off right off the bat, a fly ball, and didn't get to it in time, but he gave it a good bid. At least he kept the ball in front of him, and no run scored. But they're gonna get a lot better little by little. And like I said, small victories are gonna go a long way for these guys, and so far, so good actually for them.
Naoki Morita is going to hit right here in place of Yusuke Inuzuga. So Morita gets a chance to hit it. Again, Little League rules, every player has to hit and play 3 consecutive defensive outs. And to be sure, that's the spirit of Little League Baseball. Morita gets it.
Let me have that one.
And again, a busy day in South Williamsport, not only here at Volunteer Stadium, but also over at Lomity. 3 games in each stadium just up the hill. They'll be playing 3 others, 6 total in the Little League World Series, all on the ESPN family of networks here today. And a strikeout for Semenov. Great job by the left-hander. He has struck out 4.
Winter, they're studs. I mean, in the ice skating, and obviously in the track and field, they're very good. Gymnastics.
There's Andrei Vesenyev. He's the center fielder. Manny Ramirez, his favorite baseball player. He's a big soccer fan, too. And Vesenyev, a fan of David Beckham. I'm sure it bummed him out to hear that Beckham had been taken off the English national team's roster.
Yes.
That pitch bent like Beckham.
Yeah, very nice. Muy bueno.
So you got 2 languages on me. I have no chance.
Yokata. That would be fantastic in Japanese. Yokata.
So Spanish, and then, of course, English. And Japan, how long did it take you to pick up just rudimentary Japan while you're over there?
Well, you know, Japanese is very similar to Spanish, Boog, so it's interesting that I was surprised that a lot of phonetically it was very similar. So a lot of A-E-I-O-U endings and some words that are actually sound exactly the same, mean different. But so I was able to pick it up. So not too bad. It probably took me about a year and a half to get decent.
How about that picture right there?
And right below me is a guy that's pretty good, and that is Hideo Nomo was right there. This is one of the beginning of the season kind of magazines that comes out. They put the top players on there. And a couple other guys, Tom Paciorek, Wimpy's brother is in there.
Nikita Lebedev up here.
I sure did look young and had my big old Reggie Jackson goggles going on.
Those were outstanding,
weren't they? Strong stuff. I saw the ball better. I think so. That's all I said.
And the 0-2 pitch to the catcher. That one just misses. Well, you figure if you're a catcher, you got a favorite baseball player for Nikita Lebedev, Jason Varitek.
And again, Varitek sounds very kind of Russian sounding, so easier for him to say.
Ball.
Ooh, that pitch just missed there, Boog. That was a fastball outside. The kid, Roya Santo, is not overpowering either by standards of normal Asian or Japanese pitchers, but you know, very concise with his pitches and also has a very good breaking pitch.
Ball.
Now he falls behind, fills up the count. It's 3-2.
3-2.
And he's left-handed, which always gives anybody troubles.
Ball.
And the breaking ball missed. That's ball 4. Big crowds everywhere, including at the concession stands, and everybody working back there. They're all volunteers. Lots of good stuff to get here in South Williamsport, and good prices, no question about it.
Look at that. That's beautiful. A ballpark hot dog for $1.25. Where are you going to get that? Not to mention, Boog, it's free to come inside the game. So this is just family fun over here.
Squaring around the bunt is Lavrinovich, the left fielder, with a man at first and one out here in inning number 2. Lavrinovich checking the signs. They take the bunt off, and he swings and misses.
That little yellow hammer had some break on it. That thing just kept on breaking. He swung right over it, and that's a tough pitch for anybody to hit.
Ball.
That one a little bit outside. Throw to first, and getting back in is Lebedev.
And another thing you'll see with the Japanese team, they're not afraid to throw to bases. They're very confident with their throwing and catching prowess, so you'll see them try to pick some guys off.
A swing and a miss right there, and a strikeout registered for Ryoya Sato. 2 down. Look at that in terms of attendance, just under 350,000 people. Paid admission, that would be 0, entirely free. Good crowd here at Volunteer Stadium. A hazy day, temperatures in the 70s. It was broiling pretty good yesterday.
Ball.
Does make for easy accounting, though, if you have that when you figure. You know what I mean? Just basically kind of just 0.
That's easy math.
Yes. It's not.
You and I are not very strong with math.
Not. That is not our strong suit. I would agree with you wholeheartedly.
Daniil Homyakov up here.
So any good baseball player is pretty good at figuring out his at-bats and what he's hitting for average up to a certain point until you start getting into the hundreds. But, you know, 3 for 8s and stuff like that. That's the one math you know as a hitter.
Good curve right there, and that's a strike to Homyakov, the first baseman. Japan leading 1-0 here in the bottom of the second at Volunteer Stadium. John Shelby alongside Orestes Destrade. It's the Little League World Series from South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Good job by the catcher, Kyoke, keeping it out in front, but even still, Lebedeva takes second, and that should be scored a wild pitch.
Yeah, and we talked about this before the game. I was talking to the coach and how much they work on blocking and keeping the balls in front, because they know that, especially at any level, but at this level especially, that extra base is so important.
The 3-1 is right there for a strike, and now it is filled up. The Japanese team's always very solid fundamentally. Homyakov waits, and the 3-2 in the dirt. He walked him. Second walk of the inning. And a throw down to third, not in time, as the third baseman Murakami drops the ball. Now a throw back to first, and that's not in time.
A little bit of a confusion, I think, by the runner on second. I think he thought that maybe as he starts going, you see, he thought that it was a first and second, ball 4, so he gets third base automatically. Then he realized, uh-oh, there's nobody on first. I need to hustle over there. But luckily for him, he made it, and the third baseman dropped the ball. So got himself, he's smiling, he's looking at his coach saying, oops, but I made it, so it's good.
So Lebedeva over there at third, little meeting on the mound as all the infielders gather.
You know what I'm finding interesting already, Boog, in this short first couple of days, some surprises already, and that shows how great, you know, it is for Little League Baseball and the parity maybe that we might be seeing this year. Yesterday with the game with the Canada team, you know, I think we both felt like, wow, the Canadian team is very, very strong looking before the game, and we get a surprise victory by Transatlantic. Today, Russia's hanging in there and battling, running the bases, being aggressive. That's good. That's good for this this pool.
Mikhail Novozhilov up here. Novozhilov, who is a right fielder. Favorite player, Pudge.
Pudge Novozhilov? Oh, I'm sorry. Pudge Rodriguez. I apologize. I didn't know there was maybe a Pudge over there. Pretty big kid.
And misses at the breaking ball, and racing down to second is Homyakov, and he will make it.
Another good block that saves a run at third by the catcher right here. Watch him square up and push the ball down in front of him like you're taught, to make sure it stays in front of him. But also good base running by the guy, the kid at first.
And a swing and a miss and a strikeout. Novozhilov down on strikes, and Russia leaves 2. Well, coming up, Orestes Destrade will help you youngsters out there improve your game. We'll have some hitting tips in
after that last inning, and the coach is talking about hitting and talking about the relax and let the ball come into these hitters a little more, because the left-hander Dmitry Semenov has caused some havoc because of the fact that he's throwing a lot of changes, a lot of slow kind of stuff from the left-hand side, Boog. And trust me, they're used to a little more juice in the competition of play that they're playing over there in Asia and in those pools over there in that region.
Go Matsumoto is the only RBI of the game. 1-0 Japan. The first of 6 games today from South Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and Matsumoto with his second hit of the afternoon. Dmitry Semenov has gotten himself into some trouble each of the first 2 innings, and even though he allowed a run in the first, he had 2 aboard and nobody out and got out of it. The 4 big strikeouts, 2 in each of the first 2 innings.
And think about it. I mean, we can even go all the way to the major league level when you think about a left-hander that doesn't throw very hard, but wins a lot of games. A guy I faced for many years, Jamie Moyer, is not exactly. You look at him warm up and you say, this guy is going to get crushed, and he has no chance today. And Jamie Moyer has been extremely successful. Tommy John's another one that was able to change his game. So, you know, it works. It's just that the hitter has to make the adjustment, and that's what Coach Hirata was trying to explain to his kids.
That one under the glove of the shortstop Elkin into center field. So a base hit for Fukuyama. 2 on, nobody out. Japan back at it.
Here you go with the pitch, a little sinker running away. They stayed back. They do listen very well over there in Japan. They have a tendency to be very good listeners, and they paid attention to their coach. He said, stay back, hit the ball the other way.
Ryoya Sato going the other way. That's a base hit. They'll send the runner. Throw to the plate is not in time. In to score Matsumoto, and Japan leads 2-0.
There you have all their family from right outside of Tokyo. We're very happy to be here, and they've been having a wonderful. I talked to them before the game, but here is the third straight hit. Fastball out over the plate, line to right field. We've seen back-to-back-to-back singles. They're not trying to do too much, Boog. And they do run the bases extremely well. Very aggressive team. And now they got first and third again with nobody out. Nice batting. You gotta love it.
Jin Okuma is going to hit for Kenta Murakami.
Yeah, they're very respectful. They will tip the hat or bow to the umpire when they first get up to the plate their first time.
Ball. Ball in the dirt, taking off for first is Ryoya Sato.
Time.
And so now 2 in scored position. Japan has already pounded out 8 hits, but only 2 runs. International pool play got started last night. A mild surprise is the transatlantic representative beat Canada 5-0. The story, Andrew Holden on the mound and at the plate.
Get it for me, thank you. Let him keep it.
This is my little guy, Jin-chan. In Japanese, a child or a younger boy or girl is referred to as chan, C-H-A-N, as an adult is san. So little Jin-chan is the one that did the little bunting and hitting with me. Nice little kid.
Foul.
The building blocks, and he's got a very nice swing. He's just not obviously caught up size-wise as some of the kids that we know here. Sometimes, though similar in age, 11 and 12, just haven't caught up size-wise. But his fundamentals and his technique when I was working on him on his swing, it's a beautiful, beautiful 1-2-3 approach. He takes his hands back beautifully, and I'm looking forward to see what he can do here with a good pitch.
Hit a 1-2 hole.
Ball.
And he lays off that pitch outside. Okuma, the pinch hitter. He is one of their 13-year-olds, just over 5 feet tall. And the lefty Semenoff delivers.
Ball.
And that one misses the mark. So now it's 3-2 filled up on the pinch hitter. Even though he's gotten out of jams, he's had to work hard as the lefty. One foul back our way. Look alive,
He's trying to give me a little souvenir to take home with me for my time here in beautiful Williamsport. I'll take it.
Well, a lot of souvenirs will be available today. 6 games in all. That one crushed deep left field, heading towards the stands and gone. Home run for Jin Okuma. There's a souvenir. A 3-run homer, and it's now 5-0 as the little guy gets into one.
Look at the smile on his face. That tells you everything for a little leaguer to be able to hit a home run at this level, at this type of a tournament. He's very happy. Not the biggest guy, but the biggest bopper right now. Beautiful swing. He gets a take back. Oh my God. Hammers it. And there it goes, and his family is enjoying this. Jin-chan, there's a smile right there. That's what it's all about here. Win, lose, or draw is about the big smile and these kids having a good time.
Fumuya Hidaka will come up to hit here. So Hidaka, this Shigeru Hidaka, the pinch hitter in this spot.
Another pretty big boy if you think about it. 5'6", 142, good size. They're eating a lot better over there in Japan these days. They're not as small as they used to be. They're getting bigger. The kids are getting bigger.
In the air right side. And the second baseman, Tomolchev, puts it away for the first out of the inning. Here at Volunteer Stadium, South Williamsport, Pennsylvania, the Little League World Series presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. John Shelby alongside Orestes Destrade, the first of 6 games from the Little League World Series here today on the ESPN family of networks. Really getting going a little bit just up the hill at Lamade Stadium. Here it is international pool play continuing. Japan against Russia. Hayato Hozumi will come up to hit. That one in the air center field. Vesenyev able to make the grab. 2 down. And Little League play continues later on today. And what fisted foul, slicing into foul ground down the right side. 16 teams in the Little League World Series, 8 U.S. teams, 8 international teams. Portsmouth, New Hampshire with a win over Beaverton, Oregon in the opener of the tournament yesterday. And then last night, depending on how you look at it, a heartbreaker for Columbia, Missouri, an exhilarating win for Lake Charles, Louisiana in 9.
Yeah, there was a couple of great games here. Our game with the team from Transatlantic from Saudi, and obviously that Louisiana team. Extra innings, dramatic game-ending home runs. So some fantastic games. And if you love baseball and just the love of the game, as they say, ESPN Family is the place to be all day today because we're going to have some more.
Ball. The catcher Kyoke up here. Well, Japan has put the power on display. Last won the Little League World Series in 2003. Japan's won it 6 times. Skied in the air. Vesenyev camping under it and makes the grab for out number 3. But Japan, left-hander on the mound, Ryoya Sato. 5 punch-outs for him in a couple of innings. There are your changes. So Okuma, who hit the home run, will stay in the game and play third base. Hidaka, the manager's son, at first, and Hozumi is at second base.
I think I'm going to start calling Jin Okuma-chan Smiley now. A little Smiley.
Ball. And Sato fires outside to Andrei Shevchenko, the third baseman. Had a couple of nice catches out there in the field on some foul balls. Shevchenko playing third base, and his favorite player, Alex Rodriguez.
Fitting. You know, Sato-san has not been overpowering, this lefty, but he's been effective. He's got 5 punch-outs. He has walked a couple of guys. He hasn't given up a hit. He's gotten the jump done so far after 3 innings.
All the kids here at the Little League World Series, they fill out bios, they provide information, and a lot of it's baseball based. Who's your favorite player, your favorite team, but then also, favorite food, hobbies. What do you like to read? What do you like to watch on TV? A lot of stuff like that. I love the fact that this kid at the plate, Andrei Shevchenko, is a third baseman. Favorite actor? Sly Stallone.
Where would you have gotten that from, huh? Oh, I know. The old Rocky movie when he went up against the Russian guy. See,
that's what you think, but you don't know. I mean, we don't know whether Andrei Shevchenko is a big Sly Stallone fan because of Rocky IV when he beat Drago.
And he beat Drago. Very nice.
That ball picked up by the second baseman Hozumian handles the play. So 1 up, 1 down. Well, at Volunteer Stadium, and then across the way, there's Lamade Stadium. And we'll be going back and forth all day here at the Little League World Series. Big crowds on hand. Admission completely free in South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Free whether you're a youngster or an adult. And 6 games here today.
Yes.
He offered it that.
Yes, he did. It's beautiful the way they set it up, Boog. You know, with this second field, the newer field, Volunteer Stadium, right below Lamade, and just the flow of this whole thing is just majestic and just made for Little League baseball.
Strike pumped in there. A lot of the players on this Russian team, they're fans of the Red Sox, and that is at least in part, as Semenov is, because of their coach Andrei Selikovsky, who has spent some time in the United States and in Canada as well, and is a Red Sox fan. So a lot of the kids dig the Bo Sox because of that. 5-0 Japan, and we're in the third.
Ball.
Big curve right there.
And nothing wrong with digging the Red Sox and digging Jason Varitek, because we got a couple of the guys. And there's our
2-2.
There's Andre at third base, big guy. And like we mentioned, Jason, who also played in the Little League World Series. So good guy to idolize.
Good job there by Okuma. He's been the hitting star today. Jin Okuma handling that chance, and he has a 3-run homer in this game.
Right behind.
And now Victor Elkin up here. And another Red Sox fan. 5-0 Japan. We're in the third.
More interestingly, maybe it might be Dimitri, our starting pitcher, whose favorite singer is none other than Eminem, who maybe that's because he can't understand his lyrics just like we can't either. So I guess it works out pretty good for everybody.
Swing and a miss right there. Well, Russia today trying not to lose themselves. Right now they're down 5-0.
Ball.
One of the things that's differentiated between the two teams is that the trip for the Russian parents really difficult to pull off. Visa process takes a really long time, so tickets very expensive also. So really no parents here for the Russian players that have been on the road for about a month. And a swing and a miss and a strikeout. That will end the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning for Ryoya Williamsport, Pennsylvania. First of 6 games here. It's the Little League World Series 60th anniversary.
Lucha City.
A new pitcher on the mound. And it is the right-hander, Alexander Veronikin.
It's also only about an hour and a half outside of Tokyo, because we were about an hour outside of Tokyo. So you're still in the kind of beautiful countryside, but yet an hour away from the beautiful big city of Tokyo.
Ball.
On the famed Seibu line. That's where Seibu Lions, the owner, Tsutsumi, made most of his money as a Seibu Railway.
Besenyev, the center fielder, handles that chance. Little League World Series presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes continues. 2 more pool play games on ESPN tonight. Saipan faces Venezuela, and then it's Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Winners yesterday taking on Columbia, Missouri. And that'll be at 8 Eastern. Columbia, Missouri representing the Midwest, and Portsmouth, New Hampshire representing New England. Saipan, who represents the Pacific, and then of course Venezuela representing Latin America. And there's Portsmouth. Winners yesterday over Beaverton, Oregon. And the line drive off the bat of the pinch hitter, Kosuke Murata. Again, every player must hit and must play at least 3 consecutive defensive outs. That one ripped to center field. Besenyev started, and it's over his head. And Murata speeding towards third. The tag got him. What a throw.
Wow. That was some throw from deep in center field. From the center fielder, Besenyev. He misplayed the ball, but he sure did make up for it.
My goodness.
A hose from the warning track in center field, the deepest part of the stadium, to third base. Nice tag again by our little guy over there who's been very busy at third base, Andre. And he really did make up for the miscue.
That one ripped down the third baseline. Fukuyama nails that one in to score Matsumoto. And it's 6-0. So Japan adds to its lead.
Beautiful swing right here by Go Matsumoto. See, he's got the typical Japanese leg kick that gives you that balance. Stays back, quick hands, quick swing, bullet down the line. He was the one that was hit the ball foul that was almost hitting the coach at third base. So he's got very, very quick hands. And he gets himself another hit, and then he brings up the dangerous Fukuyama, who hasn't really done a whole, that'll bring up more Sato, the pitcher.
So Ryoya Sato up here. Japan already leading 6-0. Japan representing the Asian region. And this team from Kawaguchi City and the Kawaguchi Little League. The Russian team, meanwhile, representing the Europe, Middle Eastern, and Africa region.
Okay.
And the Russian team out of Brativo Little League in Moscow.
Right outside of Moscow, huh? Wow.
Ball.
Veronikin, the new pitcher. Semenov actually went 3.
Did a good job, really. You think about it. He gave up that home run to Jinchan.
In the air, left field line over there. The left fielder able to make the catch, Dmitry Savin. They have my order ready. Nicely done. Japan tacks on another. Middle of the fourth, 6-0.
Mondays, usually the day when you ask yourself, what am I doing with my life?
This is game number 2 in international pool play. Got started last night as the team representing the transatlantic region from Saudi Arabia with a mild upset over Canada, 5-0. And so game 2 in international pool play hits Japan against Russia. The left-hander Ryoya Sato on the mound. Vadim Tomilchev, the second baseman. And a swing and a miss. Oh, we talked about fundamentals with the Russian team, and one of the the basic starting points, practice equipment, teaching the fundamentals. I mean, it is limited over there. It makes it difficult. Andrei Silikovsky has been a big part of teaching the game over there, their first base coach. Sato has now struck out 7.
little check swing right there, and the umpire felt like he went, so that gave him a 7th strikeout. But you make a good point, Boog. I mean, they're limited, definitely compared to the United States or teams like Japan that have so much more accessible equipment, playing fields. Think about that, conducive weather, etc. So they're at a deficit, but very much like China and some of these other countries, even Africa and South Africa, definitely wanting to take baseball on. And if you give them the opportunity, there's plenty of people there that are willing to coach and teach, and kids that are wanting to play.
Funny, we mentioned those questionnaires. A number of the Russian kids said of all the people they'd like to meet President Bush. And when interviewed, the kids were asked, well, if you could meet the president, what would you ask him? Swing and a miss right there, and they said we'd ask him what happened to our baseballs.
The infamous baseballs that were supposed to be signed, I guess, and their prime minister had signed the other balls. And
yeah, back in 2003, a local baseball team from Russia went to the White House. Vladimir Putin was there. They were to meet George Bush. They brought 10 baseballs that, because of security measures, were confiscated and scanned. They were hoping to have President Bush sign the baseballs. They never got them back. Bounding ball to third. And that chance handled flawlessly. 2 up, 2 down. You know, it's one of those deals, too, where 10 baseballs, I mean, they have about 15 right now, legitimately 15 baseballs. Yeah. We watched them take infield before the game, and you're talking about some brown, beat-up baseballs that
they're
they're
very limited
practicing
with actual equipment. But
so President Bush owes them 10 baseballs.
Yeah, but didn't they take Robert Kraft's ring, also the Super Bowl ring? So is there a little give and take there that he never got back?
Well, I mean, I don't know that they took his ring. I think there was no conspiracy there. It was one guy, Vladimir Putin,
a give and
took
take
the
here.
ring.
Like
There's
you
no
got our
quid pro
baseballs,
quo
we get your ring.
Right.
No, it's one of those things. But needless to say, it's beautiful to see that also Little League International, Little League is supporting and trying to continue to advance this play, and little by little they will get better. There will be other people that will want to donate and help and create a better environment with it, because there's nothing healthier for kids to be involved in this type of a setup.
The swing and a miss right there, and the strikeout. That is 8 for Ryoya Sato. 4 in the books at South Williamsport. Japan leads here. Yosuke Murata trying to get to third, and a tag applied nicely by Andrei Shevchenko. Russia, though, trailing this one 6-0. The Russians unable to muster a hit so far. This is the 5th time that Russia has been at the Little League World Series. First time was 2001. Last year they went 0-3. They have won 1 game. That was back in 2003. They went 1-2. But I'm sure a lot of French fries have been had here.
Oh yeah, ping pong and some great times on the pool. I'm sure the kids have had a wonderful time. That's what counts.
Veronikin continues on the hill. Okuma has the big 3-run homer. And this towards third. Shevchenko handles that chance.
We got time.
Shevchenko's been impressing us over there at third base. He gets the job done. He's very, very intense. And his favorite player, I believe, was Alex Rodriguez that he mentioned. And rightfully so. I mean, it's an all-star player. And this kid is playing very good defense today for the Russian team.
So re-entering the game, Masakatsu Shiroshita, the first baseman. 1 out, base is empty.
Ball.
And we reference these bios the kids fill out, and for so many of the Japanese kids, they talk about their favorite players. Some of them are players playing in the Japanese league. Some of them say Hideki Matsui. The thing that is funny is that Also on the questionnaires, they're asked who their role model is. And whereas one guy might say, my favorite player is Hideki Matsui, he might even say my favorite player is Manny Ramirez, their role model, they say, is Ichiro. So it's like he is put on a higher plane than even baseball.
There are two mega superstars in Japan, and one is named Hideki Matsui, the other is named Ichiro Suzuki, or just Ichiro. And he really transcends the sport. He is kind of a way of life type of guy in Japan, and the way he prepares for the game, the way he lives his life. Japan does love their athletes, and they almost take it to a cult figure type of following. There's no doubt about that, and Ichiro definitely is a cult figure in Japan.
Swing and a miss right there, and it's filled up on Shiro Shita.
While Hideki is more of a loved player, Ichiro is definitely gone beyond that.
Line drive slicing out towards left center, diving in, not coming up with it is Visenya. And stopping at second is Shiro Shita with a double.
And talking about Ichiro, that was very much an Ichiro type of a swing right there. Takes a pitch out low and away, and he hammers that ball. Kind of similar to Ichiro a little bit, where you're kind of leaning out a little bit towards first, but your weight back, keep the hands back, and you hammer it towards left center.
Let me ask you your opinion. Would he be as big as he is now if he hadn't gone to the United States and succeeded at the level that he succeeded at?
That's a very good question. I still think that he was very loved nationwide because of what he had done. 7 consecutive batting titles, first player to get over 200 hits in Japan in consecutive years. Numerous things that he had done, that he established himself as a Tiger Woods type, a Michael Jordan type. But no, I think that made Major Leagues.
That one blasted out of here, and it's gone. Imai with a home run. Takahiro Imai with a 2-run blast, and it is now 8-0.
How about that? We got the little guys. We got Imai and we got Jin Okuma, the ones that give the big blast. But we know that Team Japan, that they have in the past, tremendous power throughout their whole lineup. Their big boys are Fukuyama and Matsumoto, but right there you see Imai hammer the ball opposite field to the deepest reaches of right center, and a very, very nice piece of hitting.
Ball.
Japan leading 8-0. This is the second game in international pool play. First one was last night. Saudi Arabia beat Canada. And this is the first of 6 games on the ESPN family of networks today from South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's the 60th Little League World Series. John Sciambi alongside Orestes Destrade from Volunteer Stadium. The Japanese team wearing Wilson helmets, all of the teams outfitted with the same equipment. And that one handled by the pitcher, Veronikin. Fires to first, and there's 2 down. That was basically something that Little League Baseball agreed upon. They didn't want equipment manufacturers to come in, pick out the good teams, the good players, and give them all the good equipment. And so the rule, and I think this is fair, and in the spirit of Little League Baseball, okay, Wilson, if you're going to give out helmets, bats, jerseys, gloves, whatever, you got to give it to everybody, all the teams.
Which is so nice, especially as we were talking before about like the Russian team that's limited with their equipment back home. This has got to be a windfall for them that they very much appreciate.
It's a great point, and it's one of those things as well. Take it back to the World Baseball Classic that we touched on earlier. One of the things about the World Baseball Classic, growing the game internationally, and there was money made for the World Baseball Classic. For some place like baseball in South Africa, Australia, say $500,000 towards baseball in those countries is absolutely monstrous.
And the beautiful thing is that it was forced on them to invest it back in baseball and in building new stadiums and building the algorithms of the little leagues and those type of leagues that will build future players, you know, for the international play. Not just for the major leagues, but just future players that will be good baseball players for those countries.
Veronique in the right-hander. And that ball is scorched center field and way out of here. Home run for Seigo Yada, and it's now 9-0.
There's our boy Seigo Yada, who hammered 4 jacks in the region to lead his team. Hammers one now, and not just hammers it, but he lines it out to center. As far as you can hit a ball to center field. And very beautiful swing right here. Again, he just stays back, full swing. I love the way he kind of swings and uses both hands on the bat. And that is what you call a hard-hitting line drive right there.
That a swing very similar to Hideki Matsui's.
Yeah, that one was.
Ground ball towards the hole and past the diving Elkin into left field.
Let's take a look again at this home run swing by Seigo Yada. See how he stays back, hammers heads down, and even the finish very similar to Hideki Matsui's swing. When he finishes, and he has that little flip of the bat when he finishes.
And he'll roll over on his front foot a little bit.
Yeah, he rolls over on his front foot. The Japanese, there's no doubt, they're very kind of systematic, and when they learn something and something does work good, the whole country will kind of do it. So that's why you see a lot of, you know, similar type of swings. If you see Iguchi, Matsui, Ichiro was one of those that he's an original, and he does do some things totally different with his type of swing, but nevertheless, even within his swing, very similar. There's a lot of inside-out swings that we're seeing.
Matsumoto lays off that pitch in the dirt, and taking second base is Murata.
And they are the leaders of Asia. The fact that they became quicker, better at the game of baseball that was brought to them in the 30s and the 40s, and then teams like Taiwan and Korea have also become very good in the last few years.
Safe at first is the runner Matsumoto. Now again, this is important. Here's the 10-run rule. One team is a lead of 10 or more after the 4th inning. The team that is behind concedes. The home team, if behind, must bat in their half of the inning. They've charged an error, by the way, to Victor Elkin. So if Japan pushes across another run and Russia does not score in their half of the 5th, this game is over.
And some, you know, worth to that for Team Japan to some degree. You save some bullets, so to speak, as far as your pitcher doesn't have to, you know, throw as much, or you don't have to use another pitcher. So it's not so much that they don't feel they're comfortable in holding on the full 6th inning, but, you know, for sheer.
Pitch in the dirt, and here comes the runner. Murata scrambles across to score, and now it is 10-0. And on the play, Matsumoto down to 3rd.
He grabbed it. He went in after it.
Now again, Russia will hit in the bottom half of the inning.
He went in after it. I can't stop it.
Yeah, they have to hit.
No. Why? He went in after it.
They're the home team. They get the chance to.
He went in after it.
I killed the play.
You get their ups, as they say.
If it goes in there and gets stuck again, don't go in.
They might have been talking about the ball. Okay. They were conferring more about the ball that went to the backstop and where it hit underneath there.
Play.
Nikita Lebedyev, the catcher. And that one gets to the backstop. Now, you know what ended up happening is actually Matsumoto, who just advanced to 3rd. On the previous wild pitch, he advanced to 3rd, but they ruled that the ball got stuck in the padding and they sent him back to 2nd. Yes. He had taken 2 bases and they only gave him 1. Now he's at 3rd.
Right. And I think there the home plate umpire was explaining to the catcher to not even, you know, in those type of plays, just like when you see it in the outfield, the ball gets stuck on the fence or underneath, you should just put your arms up and notify the umpires that the ball is, you know, I'm unable to get the ball, and they will stop play. instead of trying to retrieve the ball yourself.
Naruto Fukuyama.
Stay there. Let it stay there. Because once you go in after it.
Waiting for the meeting to break up. Alexander Verenikin continuing on the hill. It's 10-0 Japan, and this game could be shortened to 5 innings depending on what happens here and in the bottom of the 5th inning. There's a 10-run mercy rule in place, and again, all these rules in the spirit of Little League Baseball. You don't want to see anybody get embarrassed, would be part of what you're talking about. All the kids have to play. Can't pitch more than 6 innings. The idea of making sure that nobody gets injured out there. That ball hit hard and past Shevchenko. In to score is Matsumoto, and it's now 11-0.
Oof. Talking about getting injured, that ball was very sharply hit by Fukuyama, who we've talked about a little bit today, that he has probably the quickest bat and the most power on this team. He didn't hit a jack in this game, but holy cow, that was very sharply hit, and such good balance and bat control.
Well, they're going to make a pitching change here in South Williamsport. Denny Lulinov will take over when we come back. Stadium overcast skies, but it hasn't dampened the Japanese offense. 11 runs on 17 hits. So they have chased Alexander Verenikin, and Denny Leonev will take over on the hill. And the first offering to Ryoya Sato is a strike. Alexander Verenikin, by the way, stays in the game, and he'll play right field. And that one, a bouncer out there to second. Going the short way is Tomochev, and that is the inning. But Japan picks up 5 runs, and as we go to the bottom of the 5th, it's 11-0.
Sign up for a free 30-day trial and get a $150 signing bonus. See mobileespn.com for details.
ESPN Fantasy Football is free. Come play where the experts are. With coverage on TV, radio, online, in the magazine, and on mobile ESPN. We have all the tools and info you'll need to win. Play for free at ESPN.com.
The Hyundai Challenge is on. We're out to prove our new Tucson is a better value than CR-V or RAV4. To start, J.D. Power and Associates just named the Hyundai Tucson highest-ranked compact multi-activity vehicle in initial quality. Tucson comes with America's best warranty. Take the Hyundai Challenge during the Hyundai Challenge Summer Clearance and take home an award-recognized Tucson. Get up to $1,500 cash back. Lease a new Tucson.
Ryoya Sato is not allowed to run. He hasn't even allowed a hit. And at the plate, Go Matsumoto got the scoring started with an RBI single, but that young man, Jin Okuma, off the bench with a big hit, and then the blast right there. And the KFC game summary, Japan 11 runs on 17 hits. And Sato working on that no-hitter. And Japan trying to finish off Russia in 5. So 11-0, and the left-hander will continue on the hill. It's the 60th Little League World Series. Japan has won the Little League World Series 6 times, last in 2003. The first time, 1967.
Play.
And Ryoya Sato, the southpaw, trying to finish off Russia and make this a shortened 5-inning game. He gets a swing and a miss from Alexei Lavrinovich. Actually, check that. Dmitry Savin hitting in this spot.
And the job that the pitcher Sato has done, very similar to the whole job that this team Japan has done. Very concise, very effective, controlled. He hasn't been extremely overpowering, but he's done the job. 65, 68 pitches now with these 3. So you know, they play the game very, very, you know, regimented and very concise, and you got to appreciate that.
Breaking ball, swing and a miss. He struck him out. 9 strikeouts for Ryoya Sato, has walked in only 2, and he is not allowed a hit. The lefty firing a no-hitter. And 2 outs away from earning Japan a win from a no-hitter. And a 5-inning Mercy Rule shortened victory. And he pumps in a strike.
Boog, though he doesn't throw very hard, he's got one of the best curveballs that I've seen so far around here. It keeps on breaking from the left side. He's got a hard downward break, and knows how to use it. He's even used it when he's been behind in the count. Very impressive.
Let me ask you a quick question about the motion, because we focused on the pause and the intended deception. It's something you see a lot from Japanese pitchers. Well, if they all do it, how deceptive can it really be?
You know,
I'm asking seriously.
Yeah. And there's another strikeout. Yeah, I mean, they do get used to hitting against that motion. But a lot of it has just become, this is the way that they've been taught. And again, like I said, they're very much, if something works, they will stick doing the same thing. That's the way the country thinks in a whole in a lot of avenues, but especially in baseball. So it's become a situation where I don't even think it's so much about deception. This is just their style.
Japan, one of the favorites here at the Little League World Series, and they are 1 out away from picking up their first win of the 06 affair here in Williamsport.
Ball.
The pitcher Denny Leonev at the plate as Ryoya Sato falls behind 2-0. It's 11-0 Japan on top of Russia.
Ball.
And he misses there, and he's fallen behind 3-0 as you saw Sato looking back at the pitching rubber.
Funny little tidbit on our little guy here, number 4, Denny Leonev. His favorite food, sushi. Playing against Team Japan. Maybe he's going to meet up with him afterwards and get together.
Bounced right side. Imai handles the chance, and that's the ball game. A no-hitter for Ryoya Sato and a win for Japan, 11-0 in 5, as the lefty was outstanding today. No hits in 5 innings. The no-hitter is complete, and Japan victorious in their first game of the 2006 Little League World Series. Power on display, the fans on display as well. Japan the win, 11-0 over Russia, and we'll have more from Volunteer Stadium after this. Excellent.
Yes, he was. 78 pitches, extremely effective with his fastball. Very impressed with that curveball. It was a big 12-6 yacker up and down, had them kind of fooled. 10 punch outs, obviously no hits through 5 innings. The kid did his job, and if he's not the #1 for Japan, I'd hate to see Boog who is.
Ryoya Sato, the no-hitter, and Japan picks up the win. Let's check out the standings in international pool play. Dhahran, Saudi Arabia win last night over Canada at Kawaguchi City, representing Asia. The team from Japan victorious today, beating Russia 11-0. Our final score and our first no-hitter here in South Williamsport, Pennsylvania in the 2006 Little League World Series. Japan did it all today. The pitching, the hitting, back with a final word from Volunteer Stadium, 11-0, our final score.
Apples. Who's going to take the big bite with the Big Apple playing in this game? Welcome.
This is what every ball game must finally come
If
to.
it were up to you, you'd be good. You'd be great.
Tom's River, New Jersey, such a deserving champion.
One of the lucky ones. One of the elite. You'd be tough. You'd be strong. The one to see it through. And to think you chose to overcome the nearly impossible.
The ball game's over. Houston, Texas, the new Little League World
Making it to the big stage on the not-so-little field. The time has come to turn those big dreams into sweet memories. but what will be and who will be.